Today's episode is all about why the biggest breakthroughs in business don't usually come from just one huge idea. They come from lots of small improvements made consistently over time. I'm Laura, Managing Director and co-founder of Fresh Perspective Resourcing. We are a recruitment business with a twist on the traditional. And joining me today is Tom, Assistant Team Leader and Senior Talent Seeker here at Fresh, although I imagine he's going to come at you with more job titles when I finally let him speak. But together, we're exploring the concept of marginal games, the philosophy that transformed British cycling from an average team into Olympic champions, and what businesses of every size can learn from it. So, Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. It's my second time on the podcast. I will say I'm a little bit nervous. Normally, you got me chatting in the office a lot, but there's something slightly different about being recorded. But yeah, it's definitely fun to be here. I was also interested to see which one you went for, either assistant team leader or senior talent seeker. You just decided to
Go with both.
Go with both.
Yeah, because they both bring different things. Like senior talent seeker, you're very experienced in the world of recruitment. And as assistant team lead, you SLT, management. So you can come at this topic from both sides.
Definitely. I'm nearly 4 years in now.
4 years. And
in.
you've only done the podcast twice. How
I
is
know.
that possible?
I know. It must have been a disaster first time I was on.
It must have been no, don't do that again.
Another 2 years to invite me on.
Yeah. What other job titles do you tend to yourself at Fresh?
Director of delivery,
which Vicky loves.
I've had head of positivity. That was like a really early one as well.
Yeah, I still agree with that. Do you feel like you're head of vibes?
Head of vibe, yeah. It might have transitioned from positivity into vibes because I can be occasionally negative now, but
still being the vibes.
The vibes are definitely there, even when I am negative.
Well, thanks for joining me at the last minute. We realised that we didn't have a guest and we're like, oh my goodness, what we're going to do. We didn't do one a couple of weeks ago. So I was like, Tom, join me. Let's talk about marginal gains because we're both really passionate about this. So the reason why, there's a few reasons why I want to talk about this today. So a couple of people have mentioned to me about the British cycling team. Our fractional sales director, Tony, shout out to him. He wanted to really get us all revved up into wanting to make small changes in the sales process to obviously grow the business, push the targets up and all that jazz. So he was the first one. I'll give him that credit because the other lady that Tom's going to talk about, that she's first told it to Tom, he hadn't heard from Tony. But I digress. But the British cycling team were average. I think that's fair to say. And then Sir Dave Brailsford introduced the philosophy of marginal gains, which is making hundreds of tiny improvements instead of searching for one big breakthrough. So he changed things he prioritized improving nutrition, sleep. I think he even got them all the same mattress.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that was a thing. So that there was no discrepancy. Everyone had the same kick-ass mattress. So that the idea was that everyone got the best sleep they could possibly get. The bike setup, I think, even down to small things like the screws that we used, tiny things that you wouldn't really think about on the bike itself and on their clothing. I think about stitching was even a tiny change that he made.
I didn't know it went that far.
Yeah, it goes really deep.
I didn't know it was that deep at all. No.
Yeah, but so they were very, very tiny changes, but he made tons of them. So and even I think he painted the workshop white so dust could be spotted more easily. Like it was insanely detailed. So none of those changes on their own would have made a tiny bit of difference. And they certainly wouldn't have won Olympic medals. But collectively, they absolutely transformed the team's performance from an average team to Olympic champions. So, yeah, I've got all goosebumpy thinking about that because I get really into it. I'm like, it's amazing because it makes you think you don't need to make a big change to have a big difference. Running a business is hard, sales is hard, keeping your customers is hard, wanting to grow year on year and hire people, it's all tricky. But when you think about to do something as epic as go from an average team to an Olympic team, that's what I want for Fresh. I want us to dominate like the cycling team did. But it's reassuring to know that we can dominate and we can be the recruitment version of the cycling team by making tiny changes.
And I think you're right. It's really exciting for us at the moment because we're like fully in it. We're looking at we're looking at every little aspect of Fresh and what we can do. And like you said, Tony didn't tell me. I got it from Rachel Haslam. So we had like a team day
This is a
And
leadership and management coach
yeah,
at Team
leadership,
Academy.
FYI. But yeah, we had a circle that had numbers in it, and we had to touch the numbers in order. All the team were around the circle, and we all had different kind of plans in terms of what we do and touching the numbers. Originally, we started off what we were like nearly 50 seconds to touch all the
Yeah.
numbers. And then we started looking at different ways. Could people stand in different positions? Could we do it a little bit quicker? And then at the end of it, we almost halved the time, I think. I think we got it down to 20 something
Yeah,
seconds.
I think was it 19?
19
Yeah, we
seconds.
got it down a lot. Yeah, so you couldn't step into the circle unless you were only one person could be in the
Yeah.
circle, and all these numbers were random. She asked us to put them out in random, so one was very far away from two, but you could only touch them in order. Yeah, and we got really
We
competitive.
did. Well, because it was everyone involved. So everyone was bringing ideas to the table because everyone was stood in different spots. So things might make more sense for them to go and hit certain numbers than other people. Um, and it was that question after every time we did it that Rachel would ask. It was like, is there anything else? And then we'd always be looking and thinking, okay, what else is there? Because if you ask once, we made some improvements. Yeah, we shaved some time off. But if you keep asking and you keep refining, you end up making a massive, massive difference at the end of it.
Yeah, because there was a moment where we must have done it about 4 times, and we shaved off a lot of time. And she said, "Is there anything else?" And we were like, "What? No, there isn't." And then she didn't say anything, and everyone was silent. And for me, watching everybody, that was the moment for me because I don't know, it's like everyone was just really locked in. And all of a sudden, people started thinking differently. And we had 2 more goes after that, where we thought there was nothing else we could possibly change. And we did. We changed it two more times and shaved off even more time. And it got the whole team involved in it. And we were like, "Y- there was a point where we didn't think you could change anything, but we still could.
It was that final one where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, only one person could be in the circle, but you don't really have to be in the circle. So if a number's just in front of you, you can just tip your toe in and hit the number and get back
Yeah.
out.
We like, can we use our hands?
Yeah.
Can you start in the circle in the air because you're not touching the floor? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, do you have, you're only in the circle if you're on the floor. So if you're jumping out, then someone jumped in.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And it got the whole team thinking differently. And it was really nice to be able to see how the team thought everyone had an idea. And it was really cool. So then we came all pumped and positive back into fresh the following week. And all we've talked about since is marginal gains and how we can make them in our business. And we have since March, we've made a ton of marginal gains, those 1% incremental changes that we're going to talk to you about today. The podcast isn't just about the changes we've made and how we've become even more awesome than we already are. Don't worry, we do relate it to other businesses and recruitment in general. So please stick with us, and I think you'll really get something from our podcast today.
Fab. So in terms of the big picture stuff, obviously it's kind of easy to assume that the big picture stuff will make the world's biggest differences. And I think it kind of reminds me of being a kid when I was used to play football. My coach always used to tell me that I tried to do the World Cup pass, which is over the top. The striker's going to score the goal and we're going to win the game. When in reality, he just needed me to pass it to someone else and put all those passes together to kind of make something happen instead of having this dream thing that's going to revolutionize the game or your business. But from a sales perspective, in terms of what we've been doing, what are the kind of marginal gains that you made on your side?
Yeah, so your World Cup pass is the equivalent of us wanting to be a £1 million business.
Yeah.
So we want to, we've not done it yet, but over the last year we've achieved 29% growth, and we're looking to achieve something similar over the next 12 months. We just started in June, our 11th year, and so it feels like a massive jump to go to over 1 million, or it feels like a massive goal, or the World Cup pass. So you can't just go to that
Yeah.
from where we are now. So you've got to look at what are the other passes that we can make in the business to get us to the goal. So we started just little things like streamlining the sales documents, the documents that we use to track information from customers, the questions that we ask, how we ask them, the process itself, and looking at where who we can target, what kind of companies should we be targeting, where can we maximize our time. So, for example, we could sell one relatively small recruitment project to 100 customers, but we would have to do that sales process 100 times. And the sales process will usually take a similar amount of time. You have an introduction call, you have a meeting where you discuss the needs and you get to know each other as a business. Then you do the research on the vacancies that they need support with, put together a proposal, deliver that. They come on board and you send your terms and your invoices. So that process has to happen, whether it's a £1,500 headhunting project or a 7 grand all singing, all dancing project to find a director. The process is the same. So we're like, right, well, if we could look at, obviously we'll help anybody, but if we could target businesses that have higher level positions so that our fees are higher because they're more niche and they're harder to fill. Or if we could target scaling businesses who need multiple vacancies or people that need multiple of the same vacancy so that you would need to sell and not individually 100 times, but you could sell 50 times, but still achieve the same revenue. But then you've saved time.
Yeah.
You saved half the time. You've done it in half the
Yeah.
time, really. So that was a big thing for us. And then we had the idea. So we promise to fill the vacancies. We're usually very cost effective and lots of value add for our customers when it comes to hiring in comparison to more traditional agencies charging a percentage. And we've always said, if we promise you to fill you one BDM, if you hire more of the candidates that we supply, there's no additional charge because it's not taking us any more time. But we started to think that we were being too nice and we
Yeah.
were leaving a lot of money on the table. Like, we're already probably thousands of pounds cheaper than an agency at a BDM level. So they're already getting value for money and a fantastic service, if I do say so ourselves. But we're like, if we charge 25% for those additional hires, they're still getting an absolute steal. They get two people. They've done it in a wanna, so they save
Mm.
time on recruitment. So they're happy. And we get a little bit more money for being spectacularly good at what we do. So that's made a massive difference.
I think that translates to the clients as well. When I've been dealing with these new situations in terms of the 25%, they're saying to me, "Well, it's almost a no-brainer. It's such a good deal for me to get this additional great person at 25%, where it's not even something that they kind of consider anymore because, like you said, if they're paying an agency, it's double. So it's
Well, yeah.
75. In reality, it's 75% cheaper than what it would have been with an agency, even though it's just 25% for us, but it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, so we had like really senior BDM positions at 50K. Even at 15% with an agency, that would have been 7.5 grand. I think our price was circa 5
Yep.
for one, so they already saved 2.5 grand. But then we hired them two, so that's costing 12.50. Whereas with an agency, it would have cost them 15 grand for two. So what if we charge them like
Less than it would be for
less than
one of
six and a
them,
half? Yeah.
or the normal agency
Yeah.
fee, which is
So
crazy.
we're like, "Oh God, we don't know what they're gonna say because we've always done it for free," and nobody has had a problem. Aside from one of Emily's clients recently, he's like, "Well, I usually get this for free." She's like, "I know, but you can't, you can't anymore." And he was like, "Right, okay." So he negotiated not 25%, but we negotiated a lower fixed fee just this first time to ease him into the changes, and he was fine with that. So we didn't say no. We just negotiated the price a little bit, and next time he's happy to pay the 25%. He just wasn't expecting it, which is fair enough. But no one's had an issue.
Yeah,
And we've nudged our day rate up slightly by what, £20 a day.
£20 a
So,
day.
and again, no pushback on that. And you had the idea of, so we have a product called Headhunting Project where if people don't want to pay for the full thing, we just use that time to blitz the market, go and find as many people as we can for them, and then package that up and the clients deal with the rest of the project themselves. But if they did hire someone, there wasn't a charge. And so Tom had the idea of it going, well, why don't we? Because it's a lower price point anyway, why don't we add in a small success bonus? So when they do hire people from a headhunting project, we get paid a little bit, but it's still really cost effective for the customer.
Yeah, definitely.
And did you work out in 3 months?
I think what was it?
What
I
was it
looked at I
roughly?
looked at all the changes that we'd made. So the little bit that we get from the day rate and some of the success kind of fees and bonuses that we've had over the past 3 months. And it was considerable. It's I think over the year, if it continues as it would do over the next kind of 12 months, I think it was it like 50, 60
Yeah,
grand,
I think
something
it was
like that.
I don't know, I've got 48 in my mind, so I don't
Yeah,
think you're far
48,
off.
48.
Because I think it was 12 something that we'd made. And that is like, we're not screwing people over. That is, but that is money we've made from not necessarily doing any extra work, but just because we're really good at what we do and we've been rewarded for it. Customers are happy, candidates are happy. Everybody wins. Like Fresh gets more money, my team get more money, the client gets an absolute steal and gets extra people, and we help more than one person get a new job. Like nobody is unhappy or screwed over in this situation. And they were just tiny little changes that we made. Instead of just making a massive change with pricing or coming up with a new product or hiring another salesperson, we've effectively potentially added on £48,000 to our yearly turnover just by making small changes and being a bit more smarter with it.
And that will obviously scale with the growth as well. If we're doing more roles, we've got more likely success fees and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff that come together and really help us hit that 1 million kind of target that we're looking for. Because
yeah.
it's not it's not an easy feat getting to 1 million. You
No.
need you need as much kind of help in all these areas as you can possibly get. I think it's obviously been a big thing for the delivery team as well. We've had quite a few meetings where we've sat down as a team and said, look, we've got so many processes. It's quite nuanced in terms of what we do with the recruitment, because every stage has got a thing that you need to do and you need to follow it, because we've refined the process that we do on the delivery side over 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's where it needs to be in terms of what's in it.
It's
But
we probably have impacted or introduced marginal gains without realizing
yeah,
it over the 10 years as it's been tweaked.
yeah. But then sometimes over time, you start doing things because that's the way you've done them, and then now you're reviewing everything and going, okay, do we really need to do this? Can we package some of these things together so it saves time, save efficiency? I know we've put a new kind of timing document so that we do client timing in a more efficient way. I think we used to have it over like 4 different documents. Although at the end of
We're
the day,
really thorough with
yeah.
tracking client time.
So when at the end of the day you've worked on 3 different jobs, you were opening 12 documents at the end of the day to fill in times and where the candidates are up to and all that sort of stuff. And then just cutting that down, it might not seem a lot, but if you're giving each of your team 15 minutes at the end of the day back, you're talking over a team, that's 2 hours a day. You're
Yeah.
talking over a week, that's a whole day that the kind of team can get back. And you can do a lot in a day, especially when it comes to recruitment, finding people, making time to speak to people.
Yeah,
Makes
absolutely.
a big difference.
What other things would you say? I've talked about kind of like the sales side of things because obviously that's an area that I'm focused on. But from the delivery side, which is at the recruit for those who don't know what we mean by delivery, the recruitment services we offer to our customers. Aside from the time tracking, what other elements do you think? What other marginal gains have we made?
Well, I think it's really interesting because the big focus on them across the business in the marginal gains is we want to keep things the same, especially from the candidate perspective. We don't want, I don't know, I don't want a robot taking my candidate calls or things like that.
No,
But there's definitely
hell no.
there's definitely areas where we've looked into in terms of AI and what we do in terms of write up and kind of having those conversations with candidates where it might kind of write up the notes for us and things like that. So we can focus on having a really kind of good conversation with someone and getting all the information that we need. And then that kind of background stuff can kind of take over, which obviously, again, saves us loads of time. Um, but yeah, we're constantly looking at it because I think we have a team meeting normally on a Monday, and then a training session on a Tuesday, and we keep kind of coming back because everyone's always got a new idea, and whether you can try it and it works, and that's great, but don't be afraid also to try something and it not work.
Yeah.
I think with the marginal gains, you're not going to have everything that's going to be better, but just don't be afraid to try it. I think is a big thing as well.
Yeah, well, you learn failure is important, isn't it? That's where we learn, like, okay, well, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Could we do it differently to make it work? Well, if you don't try, you'll never learn anything. And I feel like if you don't fail, you don't always learn as
Yeah,
much.
definitely.
Okay, yeah, you implement things and it works, but then because it works, you don't question it and challenge it. You only really do that properly when something doesn't work.
Well, that's when it stands out, doesn't it? You're like,
Yeah,
oh no. That's what I mean. Don't be afraid. Like you said, it's yeah. People make mistakes. Not everything is going to work out right, but as long as you're doing more right than wrong, keep refining, keep changing.
yeah.
Um,
And
but
it's those things, isn't it? Because You think to be better, you think you've got to, or to get to a big jump up or to the next level, or whatever your business is, you think you've got to do something really massive. And then that becomes an insurmountable task that no one wants to start. You're like, where do we start? Who's involved? What is it? You've got to brainstorm ideas. But if you look at what you've already got and then question and challenge that and put it through a stress test and break it down into your individual processes and break down those processes into its minutia, is that the word?
I don't know if it is a word, but it is a great word. I've never Minutia. Does that just mean really small
Yeah, really
bits?
small
Yeah, I like
bits.
that.
I think, sorry if it's wrong, but then it makes you look at one tiny thing and go, right, can we make this a tiny bit better? And you probably can, but only by a tiny bit, and then just move it on. And it's so reassuring to know that that's all you need to do to have a massive impact at the other end of all that process change, rather than having to come up with something fantastically new, because that is really hard.
But it's like any big piece of work that you do, isn't it? You don't just go and write your dissertation one day. You you do you
No,
do
or start it the night before.
Yeah, yeah, you don't start the night before. You start really small, so you do little chunks of it over time, and I think that's the same idea. You will get to the end goal, but you're not just gonna get there overnight or, like you say, one big change that's gonna revolutionize your business. It is gonna be all the little things that come together,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I think that's the interesting part about especially the people that we work with specifically, because we work with so many different businesses and you know them so well. And throughout the recruitment process, you see where they go wrong. And it's really kind of interesting to see pitfalls in different businesses and how they do things. And that's where we can kind of come in and add our expertise because we do recruitment every day. We know how it should be done. We know we can give advice. And I think that's also a big part of our service. We're not just a CV machine. We're really here to help you understand where you can do better, all those sorts of bits to help you improve on the kind of recruitment side.
Yeah. And I think that's applicable to any businesses, isn't it? Like, because whatever you do, whether it's HR, if it's coaching, accountancy, especially if you're offering a service to people and you have that visibility of other businesses because of the service that you deliver. And it's so easy, so much easier to see into something that you're not a part of and go, oh, right, we know that you do this, but in our experience, if you do it this way, you have a much better, I don't know, retention rate or impact on the candidate or whatever it is. Um, and then I think it's just this marginal gains mindset, isn't it? I think once you start doing it and everyone in your business is on board and you start doing it, then what you suddenly realize is that you just then start doing it
Yeah.
all the time. And then that flows down through your customers. So that and not only are you micro changing things in your business to be better for your customers, to be a better business. But you're also naturally then making those micro changes for your customers, which is impacting your customer service and also making you a better business.
Yeah. I think from my side, the delivery thing, probably the biggest area of improvement in the recruitment process that I could see for our clients is the kind of onboarding side of things.
Okay.
They often clients are so good throughout the recruitment process. They get back to you with feedback quickly, they interview really well and all this sort of stuff. And you're thinking, this is going great. Gets to onboarding, they've made an offer to someone and it all kind of falls apart. There's
All
no
right.
there's no ownership sometimes. So it's like, okay, can you send the contracts out? Well, yeah, that's HR's job. And then you've got to get in touch with HR. And there's this slow kind of process, probably in one of the most important parts of the recruitment process. You've made an offer, you need this person to be secure, you really like them, you don't want to lose them. And sadly, sometimes that lack of direction or lack of process or lack of just oomph in that stage can mean that things can go really, really wrong. Like candidates may just disappear if they've not getting the contract in a couple of weeks and have not heard much from them. They become disillusioned with this role that they thought they really wanted. So it's as simple as have a process, have a clear process, have someone who is responsible for it, who's going to be sending the contracts out and do it at speed and pace.
Yeah.
This is not going to cost your business loads of money. It's not going to, I don't
It
know.
shouldn't cost any money.
Yeah, it's not going to take any loads of time,
It should take less time.
less time. Yeah. And that's the thing. And it could make a world of difference. It can be the difference between getting the person that you want or completely losing them and having to do recruitment all over again, which is massive amount of time. It's
Yeah.
interviewing, screening, all that sort of stuff again to get to the same place that you would be if you just done things kind of right and looked at it and understood your entire recruitment process and where you can make those changes.
Yeah. And with the onboarding, like I get that in a bigger business, different people are responsible for different things, but it's just looking at your process, say, right, this is the recruitment process. We're going to, we identify where you have a need, we go to Fresh, we tell them about it. They run the whole thing. And then the next time the baton comes to us, aside from the interviews, is onboarding,
Yeah.
offer letter, contracts. So you just need a tighter process, or at least at the beginning, tell whoever's responsible for that part that it's happening and that at some point over the next X number of weeks, you will need them to
Yeah.
do this. So maybe letting them know, because if they're not involved, and then you tell them they have to fit it into their workload. You don't know how many offer letters they're having to get out. But that's all it could be.
Yeah.
That is your micro change there. But there's a saying, time kills all deals.
Okay.
And that, I remember I was taught it and I've heard it so many times. There's so many like sales cliches. And I learned it probably like, 2007 when I was getting my first recruitment job and I went to like a sales training. But it's true. And you've just made me think of it because of the onboarding. Like, it is not a sale or a deal, but it's still, kind of is. You're selling yourselves to the candidates and vice versa. But excitement, passion, urgency, all the way through the recruitment process to then at the end be like nothing. No
Yeah.
one was bothered. The hair's disappeared and the tortoise has arrived, and there's no urgency. And then people start to feel like interest is waning, excitement is diminished. They're no longer interested, and in the lack of any contact, the silence makes them think that you're just not that interested anymore. And then they will start to look elsewhere. And the same with the sales process. I had it a few months ago. There was a company that got in touch and they were telling me about this area that I've never really looked at, like bid writing and tenders and, pitching for work in that way. And I'd never thought about it. And they're like, well, we would find them for you and we would do it. This is how much it would cost. But then I was like, wow. And they're like, there's these things and there's these things. I'm like, this sounds amazing. And they didn't follow up with me. And I think I might have sent him an email and he didn't reply, and I just lost all interest.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like they can't be asked. And he contacted me, I think this week about something, and I'm not interested anymore because I just didn't feel the passion or the love from it.
Yeah, I think I said this to you the other day. It's that, like, you want to be loved no matter what you do,
Yeah.
whether it's sales or recruitment.
Yeah.
You want to feel like somebody is interested and someone who
Interested.
cares about you. And if you get that all the way through a recruitment process and then it gets to the onboarding stage and that completely goes, you start questioning, did they always love me? Was it always this way, or is
Yeah.
this what it's actually going to be like?
There's a film called He's Just Not That Into You. And the
Not
whole
seen it.
thing, can't remember who's in it. It's an old film. And in the whole thing, it used to be a thing on Sex and the City, like, it's all about dating. And then if the guy doesn't get in touch with you for ages afterwards, and like, oh my God, what's happened? He's been hit by a bus, could be in hospital, could have been kidnapped by aliens. And they're like, no, he's just not that into you because he's not been in touch.
Yeah.
I think one of them, the guy had been hit by a bus or something. And, he had a good story. But most of the time, that's what people think, that you're just not that interested. So I know we've gone off on a tangent here, but onboarding, really important, whether it's candidates, whether you're hiring and the candidate's not coming back to you. We had that recently. After the interview went amazing, didn't follow up. And I don't feel like she loves us enough to come and
Yeah.
join us. Or dating, onboarding, very important.
I mean, it is. I have kind of pigeonholed it to the onboarding, but the marginal gain stuff is so great because you don't need a huge budget. Nothing that we have done has really cost us any money.
Just some time
Just
thinking
some
about
time
it.
thinking about
Yeah.
it. So yeah, you don't need that huge budget. You don't need to have a complete kind of overhaul of everything. You just need to look at the little things, and any business can do this, whether you're I don't know, whether you're a local shop or you're a recruitment
It's hard to
business.
think about other businesses. All of a sudden, you accountants.
Yeah, what can they do? Or like,
Because yeah, if you keep it with the recruitment thing, because obviously that's what we do and that's what we're experts in. We aren't accountants or shops.
No, all shops, no.
Although we do kind of sell candidates, but it's not quite the same thing. But like even just your adverts, like people's like, oh, I'm just going to shove an advert on Indeed. I'm like, no, don't do that. Put an advert on Indeed with purpose and intent and a little bit of strategy. Like, don't just whiz your 2 or 3 page on Word document job description on Indeed. Just pick out the more salient points. Make it just a little bit, give it a bit of va-va-vu. Make people want to read it. Don't just put your job description up there. Don't make it long. Just put 10 minutes of thought into your advert. Slim it down. Make it engaging. Make it fun. And think about where you should put it. Do you want to put it on Indeed? Fine. But when should you put it? Don't put it on Indeed on a Friday night
Yeah.
because no one gives the fluff.
They're at the pub.
Yeah,
They're at the
they're in the
pub.
pub.
Yeah.
They don't care. And then on Saturday, they might be recovering from being in the pub, or they're doing the big shop, or they're taking the kids to gymnastics or swimming, in Emily's case, or they're going away for the weekend. Like, don't put your advert out on Friday night. Just think about it. Don't, because people are like, oh, I'm going to put an advert out. Right. Put it up. And they just put it up at the random time, like 2:00. You're like, no, think about when do people digest adverts and where are they when they do it? They might be having the coffee in the morning. It could be on the lunch break, on the phone. It could be when they're on the tube or the train to work or home from work. Or on a Sunday night when they're regretting all the life choices and they don't want to go to work on Monday.
And the impact of that can be huge. If you're just throwing an advert out there, as recruitment people, we know how unpredictable an advert can be in general. Sometimes you can get someone great or a few people great. Sometimes they can be full of rubbish. But if you're just throwing it out, you're more likely leading into getting loads of people who aren't suitable.
Yeah, or in a different time zone.
Yeah, if you're thinking about it, if you're being a bit strategic, that one person who applies because you've put some effort into the advert, you've posted it at the right time, it's got the right messaging, it shows off your business. It's not just loads of words about synergy and all the sort of streamlining and all the stuff you'd be doing in your job. It's a thought out thing. It's engaging. That one person could just apply and you're giving yourself the best chance of that happening.
Yeah, because you're going to put an advert out anyway.
Yeah.
So you're going to do that task. You're going to pay Indeed or whoever you might use. All the job boards are available. You're gonna take the time to do it. So just take a tiny bit more time and just put a bit of effort into it because I can guarantee you now you will get a better output. It's a bit like when you shove a post up. Like people put posts on LinkedIn at the most random of times. And I've tried and tested it on my LinkedIn and I think most of my network prefer a post in the morning. If I put one up like lunchtime or beyond, 9 times out of 10, it bombs and no one cares because my target audience are UK-based business people. So they're online between 7 and 10.
Yeah.
And then you've probably lost them for the rest of the day to traveling into meetings and no one, or maybe they might come back on in the evening. But that's just, I don't know. I don't think it's as good. And so it's a little bit like your advert. Don't just throw it out. Think about when to post it. Who are you trying to target? Are you trying to target people in Mexico? Well, then maybe throw it out at a random time because it'll be a normal time in Mexico. But you're probably not trying to attract candidates from Mexico if you're a UK-based business. So put it out at a time that UK-based candidates are online and think about who those candidates are because if they're, I don't know, developers, they might be online later. If they're salespeople, they might be online in the morning. But just think about it. That's all it needs. And I think you will absolutely get a better output by making those micro changes or marginal gains with your adverts. And it'll just cost you maybe like 10 minutes.
I mean, Paulina nearly did it the other day. She nearly posted a LinkedIn post on Saturday morning. She was writing it. I was like, why are you writing a LinkedIn post? I was like, well, I was going to post my LinkedIn post today. I was like, you can't be posting on a Saturday morning. Nobody's going to see this.
Unless it's about something, nothing to do with work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, people will see it, but nowhere near as many as you want
Yeah.
to see it. So if you're going to go through the whole effort of thinking about a post and writing it, put it out when you think more people are going to see it.
100%.
Because otherwise, why are you doing it?
Yeah, it's all about visibility, isn't it?
Yeah. Although Laura Mack, who came to the festival, she did put a post at 1 a.m. in the morning, but it was on Instagram.
Maybe that's fair enough. Maybe Instagram's a different
Yeah.
ball game.
Yeah, what else were we gonna talk about? Yeah, but so I think, there's so many marginal gains you can make in recruitment, like your interviews. So Tom says that where he thinks the most value can be added is onboarding, but often it's interviews. So we do the whole process and everything's amazing because we're well good at it. But we find the candidates, we attract them, we screen them, we send them over to the candidate, we talk about which ones they like, we discuss our thoughts, we prioritize them in order of preference, and then we organize the interviews. Everyone's well happy. We then have to pass the control and the baton to the client at that point because we aren't in the interview. You've no idea how good this person is at interviewing. You don't know how often they've done it. You don't know what questions, because you can ask them, "Do you need any help with interviewing? Do you want to share your questions?" But lots of times, like, "No, no, no, I'm all
Oh
good.
yeah, I've got this. I've
I've
got
got this.
this.
Don't worry about it." You're like, oh God. And so most of the time it's fine, but some of the times it's not. And so it's just making sure, again, you're going to ask questions. Hopefully you will prep them. Just prep them a little bit more. And if you've not got tons of experience in interviewing, run it by someone who has. Get somebody else to come in your interview with you. You should be interviewing in pairs anyway. I don't advise interviewing individually because you'll miss things whilst you're taking notes, and other people will come at things from a different angle and ask different types of questions. So collectively you get a well-rounded interview experience. But just making little changes. If you're just asking a list of competency-based questions, stop. That is a micro change you can make. Delete them all, set the paper on fire, and start with some better questions. But there's so many different ways you can make a massive change to hiring the most amazing person at the end of the process by changing your job description, changing your advert, thinking about when you post it, prepping for your interview questions, and that process and making that as slick as you can. And then the onboarding. Oh my God, if you made micro changes through just those areas, your recruitment process would just be amazing.
It kind of, I was just thinking about that. It kind of goes from you start off with marginal gains, and then you end up kind of marginal thinking. So
Yeah.
everything that you think about is like, what can we do? What can we do better? How can we improve? And that's where you really start to thrive, I think, because then you start thinking about things that you would have never have thought about before. Most people I would consider who don't do much recruitment wouldn't really be thinking about when am I posting this advert sort of stuff.
Absolutely
But
not.
when you start there, when you
Yeah.
listen to this podcast and you take our advice and you start there, you'll start doing the rest of it, which I think is the really important bit.
Yeah, once you start asking, you just start questioning things, then you just start questioning everything, but in a really positive way. And then you mentioned earlier, just looping it back to something else, taking it away from recruitment. I think we've made our point here.
We got it.
But we've really harnessed AI as a business. We've never really done it, and ChatGPT came blasting into the public a little bit more over the last 2 years. And we really harness that. But recently for us, we've started using something called Claude, which records our meetings. So I know you can record your Teams calls. Although my Teams has been very iffy. I had a problem with the microphone recently, so that's not been available to me. But I make tons of notes and then I have to type them up or what's this?
Dictate.
Dictate, that's it. I can't find the word in my brain. Dictate them into HubSpot, rather than typing them out. But if I don't do it straight away, I struggle to read my own writing, and I can't remember because obviously I just take notes. I don't write everything down. I struggle to remember everything that we talked about, and I don't always. I've got back-to-back meetings. I don't always have time to write everything up as and when. Emily passes her written notes. So I use my remarkable Emily's paper to Gemma RPA, and she has to decipher Emily's hieroglyphics.
Hey, does that actually happen?
Yeah. So we started being a little bit more slick, and the amount of time it saved. Like Emily has ADHD, and she won't mind me saying that. So recording the meetings and doing the admin afterwards, she really struggles with. So Claude is this little thing, and it records meetings. So I come in a meeting room when I've got a telephone call and put it on speakerphone so it can capture the whole meeting. I have it when I'm on my Teams calls just in case Teams lets me down because I don't trust it. And in your face-to-face meetings, you just obviously have to ask people if they're okay with you recording it instead of taking notes. And then it does that, and then on your app, it generates and creates the notes. But you can put in templates. So obviously it will just, and it has different templates, different types of things you want it to pull out of the whole transcript. And it's honestly been amazing. Like the other week, I went to a meeting and they just were firing things at me because they were recruiting for a vacancy. And I tried to write down as much as I could. But I'd recorded it, and I then got the transcript, and out of that, I asked it to just generate it in terms of what the job was, not necessarily the whole meeting, but out of everything we discussed, can you write me a job description? Because I didn't have one. So it pulled out everything, and then I put that into either Copilot or ChatGPT, and it created a job description. And I sent it back to saying, this is the job description that we've created based on the notes I took from our meeting. And they're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And that whole process probably, well, obviously recorded the meeting, but probably took 10 minutes, if that.
And I think it just kind of improves the level of service that you're providing as well. You go into a meeting and you're having a proper conversation with someone. You're not worried about scribbling
About
down
writing it
everything
down,
that
yeah.
you're just having a proper chat with someone. And I think on the back end of that, you're not making yourself look silly. You've got all the information. You're not getting the salary wrong when you send it back to them,
You
or
don't miss
you don't miss
anything. I
anything.
might still write certain things down because I'll write things down that I wanna come back to or talk more about, or I'll have thought of something and I wrote it down to come back to. So I'll still make some notes, but it's unbelievable because it doesn't miss a thing. It gets the whole conversation. And so, and then it's been absolutely amazing and saved so much time, and it saves you forgetting or missing something and having to go back to the
There's
client.
nothing worse than that when someone's told you something specifically in a meeting and you leave and you go, "Oh God, what was
And
the
then I look
salary?
through my
What was
notes and I'm
this?"
like, "Oh my God, I didn't
Yeah.
write it down. Why did I not write it down?" But yeah, and then we're looking at how we can again utilize automation and AI to improve efficiencies. It will never take away the human touch at Fresh, but it is helping us with our admin and improving efficiencies, saving time. And that time is used talking to more candidates, finding more customers, helping more people.
And that's the best bit.
That is the best
No,
bit.
people wanna be out there, they wanna speaking to people, they wanna be doing the fun bit of their job. I don't think anyone enjoys doing the admin, the process side of things.
The people that just love to do that as a job do, and they're
They
amazing.
are amazing.
But other people like you and I and Emily don't like the admin. We have to do it. So having these tools to help us, again, have just been little marginal gains. I know Claude was like £143, but if you look at how much time that saved us, that is paid for itself already.
100%.
I could talk about marginal gains all day, but I feel like we shouldn't. So but I love them so much because they're achievable for every business. Whatever you're doing, whatever your business is, regardless of size or industry or location, marginal gains can be done for everyone. And that's why I like it so much. And it makes me feel excited. You don't have to have a complete overhaul. It's just small changes that you can do over time. And I can't believe how many we've made over 3 months and the impact it's already had on our business. So what would you say then, Tom, to if every business listening could improve just one thing this month, make one marginal gain, where do you think they should start?
It's a tough one because each business is different and has its own way of doing things, but more than anything, I think to start really small. Just you don't like we said, it doesn't have to be something big, and speak to the people who are on the front lines doing the work. It's no good speaking to your senior leaders in terms of what needs to change because those marginal things are not normally at the top level. It's at the base level of where people are getting things done, and there is bottlenecks in the way that they do things or what they do. And it is speaking to those people. So getting everyone together like we did and say, okay, where are we going wrong? What takes you too much time that shouldn't? Does this need to be here? Do we need to have this process? Can we shorten things down? And asking all those questions to the people who are really doing the work,
Hmm.
because I think they can give you the best
Oh my
answers.
God, yeah, don't come at me and
Yeah.
ask me how we can improve our delivery processes. I have no idea. I don't do it. If you want to know how we can improve our sales processes, I'm your gal.
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
just making sure you ask the right people.
Asking the right
Yeah,
people and asking the right questions. And every time you you're asking why, and if we can go kind of further from the point that we're doing. So if you can make an improvement, great. Can you make that better? Is there any other ways? And
yeah,
taking different ideas. Some people, when we played the game with Rachel Haslam, come up with ideas, and it's taking them on board because then you can bounce off them. So someone might have a certain thing that turns into something that's even better off that little idea that they had because you're just thinking it's that marginal thinking. Everything gets bigger and bigger from there. And how can we improve and make things better? So start small, but start. Definitely start.
start and ask your team,
Yeah.
brainstorm. Like even, I mean, if anyone wants an intro to Rachel Haslam, let us know because that day on its own. I think it led to more marginal gains. Obviously, we did that session first, and then we did a lot of team building activities. Went to an outdoor activity centre, and we did all kinds of climbing and puzzles and games. And it was really good because it got not. We started with the marginal gains, so we've opened up our brains, and then we started these puzzles and problems and things like that. We had to work together as a team. We had to really communicate. And I think without realizing it, we're making marginal gains all day. And one thing that really stood out for me was, I know you might not want to take your entire team on a team building day, but you should. But like taking a step back and watching different members of the team step forward for the different types of games. Like some people really surprised me how they took the lead, or how suddenly they were really good at solving puzzles or being logical because they've not shown me that before. And so that in itself is a marginal gain because now you know that person is wired that way. You can push more of those things to them, and then that gives them more responsibility, elevates them. It makes your business better, and makes space for other people. So I do think like doing a session, whether you just do it in the office or you go somewhere, you do it yourselves or you get someone in, do think about exercises that you can do as well as the brainstorming, because I think if you start with the exercise and the games, it starts you thinking in that way, it gets energy and flowing and creativity arrives, and then look at the processes and the systems and question everything, and it's like what else and what else and what else, and keep doing it. But I think the games first
The
almost.
game, I think you're right. The game first, because I think for us, it made it very tangible in terms of how much a difference a small change can make. Because
Yeah, it really did.
when you're talking about seconds, where it took us a minute at the start, for example, and then by the end of it, it took us 20 seconds. That's a huge difference. It's such a huge difference. So you've got that kind of proof to start off with, and then you can go, okay, we've done this. Look how much of a difference we made. Bring it into your
Yeah, and you can
business.
then apply it,
Yeah.
yeah, and because then it's that point where you go, "Okay, we've done all we can," you're like, "Well, have you?" And then you bring that mentality to your business, like, "Well, we've made all the change." He's like, "Yeah, but what else is there?" You're like, "Oh, god damn it." But there are always maybe not always, because you do get to the point where you're like, "Actually, this is it. This is banging. We've done it." But yeah, I think as silly as it sounds, saying it out loud, the games
Yeah.
make a difference, yeah. And like another little thing for me, we've talked a lot about recruitment, but we had an idea. So we ask all of our clients and candidates to leave us a review. It's social proof. Our industry has a terrible reputation and we're changing that narrative. But we can tell people that our customer service is amazing until the cows come home. But if they've not worked with us, they don't know it and they might not believe us if they've had a bad experience. So reviews for us are vital in terms of social proof and showing people that not only do we say what we say, but we also have it backed up by customer experiences in writing. But not everyone has time to leave a review. Candidates are more seen to leave reviews more.
Yep.
And clients don't not leave us reviews because they've not had a good time, because we have a debrief with every client and we get feedback, constructive and positive, so we can learn and we know what's gone well. It's really important to us. And we ask them all to leave a review and they all say they will, but then not all of them do because they get busy. So a small change, an idea we've had is when you ask them to leave a review, send them the link, say, please, can you leave a review here? It doesn't need to be more than 100 words if you don't want it to be. And here's some examples of other reviews. Not because we're trying to guide them in terms of what to say nice things about us. We're not writing it for them. But in a lot of cases, our customers have a similar experience. Like they really appreciate that we've thoroughly screened candidates, or they really appreciate the updates, or the fact that we're enjoyable to work with, or they've had a positive experience, or they've hired more than one candidate than they expected. They have, there are some similarities. So if they looked at examples and go, oh yeah, I experienced that, that, and that, right, I'm going to write mine, and it's easier for them. So we expect to get a higher level of reviews because we're making it easier for them, and that's another small change, and that's something that everyone can do.
I definitely think that's a big thing. When it's like anything that might be even like minutely inconvenient to someone,
Yeah,
make it as easy as possible. Don't have them having to find us on Google to leave a review and all this sort of stuff. Here it is. Here's some examples. We'd really appreciate you doing it. It's all there and kind of ready to go.
yeah.
Um,
Because people have said, "Oh, I know, recently been invited to go and speak on a panel, which is lovely." She's like, "Oh, can you send me some words on a bio?" And I'm like, How many words do you want? What kind of words do you need? And like, can you give me an idea of what you want and the length, or can you show me some examples? So she's going to send me that. But if she'd gone, I need this many words, I need it to cover these things, here's some examples, I probably would already have done it by now.
Yeah, because it makes your life easy.
Yeah.
Especially for you, you've got no time. You have 0 time.
No time.
So if anything makes your life easier or quicker, you'll much appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm
It
sure there's
feels like
plenty of
that.
other people.
Oh, right. Have we covered everything? Is there anything else that we need to say?
No, I think this has been very, very fun. And I think our passion has come across.
Yes,
I think
I think so.
I think it is something, like we said,
We
we
could
are
talk about this all day.
yeah, we're in it at the moment. And
Yeah.
I think that's really exciting for us because the change that we've already seen has been great. And I'm
Oh,
excited to see where else that goes as well.
yeah. And I think that's what I suppose why we wanted to do this episode, because me and Tom are so passionate and excited about this. And because of the experience that we've had, and we want to keep doing it. So we really want everybody else to
Get
feel
on
as
board.
excited
Yeah.
and positive as we do. And I hope that is a big takeaway from today's conversation. And that it is exciting that a massive change can be built with small incremental changes consistently over time rather than a massive thing that's insurmountable. But we really appreciate you listening and joining us on our excited podcast session. But take 10 minutes this week, write down 5 to 10 things in your business that could be improved by just 1%. Then just pick one. Just
Pick
pick
one.
one thing and do it. And you'll be like, oh my God, one tiny thing I've made improvement on. And then next week, pick a different one. And then in a month's time, look at the difference that those 4 things have made to your business. I can't believe the difference that marginal gains and micro changes have had on Fresh so far in just 3 months. And I'm excited to see how it can impact you guys as well. So thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. It might not be me and Tom, or it could be if you're lucky. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please follow us, leave us a review, tell other people about the podcast. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, where else? TikTok, YouTube,
Are we still
Amazon
on
Music, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you think you can find Fresh, except for I don't like calling it X, but that's what it's called now.
Yeah, we don't want to be on there.
No, we're not on
No,
there.
we don't want to be
That's
on
the
there.
only one
No.
that we don't use. And the website is F for Fresh, P for perspective-resourcing.co.uk. I've been Laura Leyland.
It's been James Henry Thomas Anderson.
That's not his name on LinkedIn, though. It's just
Tom
Tom.
Anderson. Follow me on LinkedIn, please.
Thanks so much, guys. Peace out.
Bye.